We install Android screens and head unit upgrades every day, but the unit I'm about to show you is on a completely new level. Here we've got a beautiful Audi RS5 with a completely stock interior. So this car is gonna be our donor car for today. So this is the Audi screen that you guys all know and love. If you go on the website, you'll see it's a 5-star reviewed screen. And if you buy a screen from us, this is what you get. It is a great screen and we've done many videos on it. We've got full install videos on Audis, A4s and Q5s and RSs and all that stuff. It is a fantastic screen. But I said to my suppliers, if I wanted to go bigger and better, money is not an issue. We want to get the top spec, the best of everything, top of the range unit. What does that look like? And this is what we got. So we open the box. First thing is instructions. A lot of people have always asked for instructions, so instructions now come in all of the kits. A massive wiring harness, which we're going to go through. The screen itself. Now, if you look closely, you will see that this screen actually looks slightly different to our normal screen. The normal screen's got the rounded edges and the silver trim on the bezel. This is all black and it's more squared off. Now this is absolutely loaded. So we've got the top of the range Snapdragon processor. A lot of screens do use Snapdragon, but there are actual versions of Snapdragon. This has the top one you can get. There's no processor above what's in this. It's got 8 gigs of RAM, 128 gigs of storage. On the very top, we've got a SIM card slot. We've got expandable storage and a microphone port. We will add an aftermarket microphone. However, this unit actually supports factory Bluetooth integration. So your Bluetooth phone calls, Bluetooth audio, all of that stuff just works through the factory MMI Bluetooth, which is crazy. Here we have the new Fascia. Something else that's different about this than our other fascias. Normally, our fascia has a hazard button on the top. This one has no hazard button. So I would say the hazard button's probably controlled from the screen itself, but we'll have to check that and confirm it. This is the first one we're installing today. We've got mounting hardware in the kit, and then we've got our install bracket. Really quickly with the wiring, GPS antenna, microphone, which we chuck out and put our upgraded one in, or we just use the factory Bluetooth. Wi-Fi antenna, quad lock connector. I can see on this quad lock there are actually some other cables that we don't normally get, so I'll be interested to see how they all connect. This looks like the hazard loom plug with a massive extension on it, so that's interesting. Secondary harness with USB and input cable right here for the factory MMI system. More mounting hardware and an AMI connector, which usually we don't need, but I'll see how we go. So it does look slightly different. It is completely loaded with features. It might be overkill because our screens that we normally sell are more than enough. They're plenty fast, wireless CarPlay works, Android Auto works, the Bluetooth is great, everything works well. I just wanted to go next level. Like, what is the max? So that's what we're gonna do. The install's not gonna be a massive how to install. Just go back on our channel. I have many videos on how to install these Android screens in Q5s and A4s and RS5s and all that sort of stuff. So watch those. This video is gonna be a little bit of install, but more getting the screen in and having a look at how different it is for install and how different it is when we use it. So that's as far as removal goes. We've got the screen out, we've got the head unit out, climate control is out just in case we do need to use that climate control harness, glove box out, and A pillar out. Now normally we would run our upgraded microphone down here, but because this screen uses the factory MMI for phone calls and audio, we should not have to run a mic. I'll test it and let you know. But we also take this off so we can mount our GPS antenna right there in the A-pillar, so it looks really nice and neat. All right, this is where we're at so far. Quad lock is plugged in, so this is part of the new harness. That just plugs right into the original quad lock and then spits out a new quad lock for the original head unit. Once that's plugged in, I grab all of the original cables and fish them out. Make sure you do this because you've got 1, 2, 3 GPS antenna, and then the other 2 plugs that were right at the front of the head unit. Make sure you don't lose them. Here they are now. Make sure you don't lose them because if you don't plug this stuff in, OEM stuff won't work. So very important. The other plug is right here. Now, in the start of the video, I said we don't need this plug and I chucked it. That's because our normal screens connect to the CAN bus junction here. This screen, however, only uses the 3G MMI connector from climate control. So plug it in, and then there's a little 2-pin harness that I've run behind the dash over to here. And now we have a gang of wiring right here. Now the original screen does have 2 connectors, this one and this one here. This one's not needed. This is the one that you want to plug in right here. So you just connect that, tape this one up, no need. These other cables, don't need them either. That's for 360 camera, we're not doing. There are 2 more camera inputs on this. Pretty sure we don't use them, but I'll let you know. And then I've just taped up the USB and other microphone cable to run down into the glove box area, and that's that. From this harness, there are more cables that also run down to here. So let's talk about what's down there. So we've got this white connector right here. That tees off from the quad lock. So you plug the quad lock in and behind the dash, run the cabling through, and it will leave you with the white connector down there. From here, we'll run the connector up the dash over there, ready to plug into the head unit. Now on here, there are a bunch of plugs. One is reverse camera power and reverse camera RCA. So that's what I'm going to use for the camera that we're going to install. Then you've got 360 camera detect, DVR power, a pink plug, another DVR. All of that stuff I believe is not used, so I'm going to tape it up. Then you've got speaker in and output. Again, pretty sure not used, so going to tape it up. I know there's a lot. And then we've got CAN 1 and CAN 2 as the last 2 plugs. Now, from that climate control plug that we ran, there was a 2-pin connector. There it is there. And that's also purple and labeled CAN H1. So I'm going to assume CAN 1 to 1 and plug that in and then run that up to the head unit. This harness here had me baffled. No idea what to do with it. I know it's for the hazard plug, but we're keeping the original hazard plug. So I was like, what is this for? I had a look at the instructions. If you look right about there on the instructions, we can see that there's an Android knob with a hazard button and some other buttons on it. So that gets removed from here. Now on this car, firstly, it's a right-hand drive, and secondly, it's an MMI car. So we don't get that button. So that means this plug would normally plug into the hazard button, run down, and plug into the new button set here, which we don't have and we don't need. So I would say that, don't need. Hopefully that all made sense. If you have any questions, you can drop them in the comments below. But with what I've said now, I'll get that connected, I'll plug the screen in and test it, and just make sure everything works. So just doing some basic testing. First thing I've noticed is the dial does not work. So I'll have to look at the CAN bus plug for that. The other thing I noticed is the Bluetooth. Now this is why this screen is amazing. So I have paired to the original AUDI MMI. That's the AUDI original Bluetooth. You will see that I am paired to the factory Bluetooth of the car. Amazing. Now we touch the screen and go back. I then also paired to the screen's Bluetooth. Now this is where a lot of people have issues. On our other screen, we have nutted this out so that the factory Bluetooth you pretty much don't use, you just use the screen's Bluetooth, and it works amazing. It's pretty good. For the people that have a car like this where the Bluetooth is all working and everything's good and they actually want factory Bluetooth, that's what this screen's for. So let's go to Car Auto, which is our CarPlay, over to the phone. Now I'm gonna call the workshop. So phone's ringing, have a look at this. Factory Bluetooth right here. And on the phone, we've only got one option, which is the genuine Bluetooth. Now for a lot of people, that's not gonna mean a lot. And for other people, that is gonna mean everything. You can have a brand new screen, use your original Bluetooth calls and original A2DP audio streaming through this screen. It is amazing. Now this is an older RS5, so it doesn't actually have audio Bluetooth. Bluetooth is calls only. Now, if we were to go to music and play some music, you would normally hear this through the Bluetooth audio system, but because there is none, it won't work. No problem. Let's go back to car info, media. Now in our source list, one thing that our other screen does, which I did have put into the software, even though we don't have the AMI connected, through the hardwire, it would tell the car that the AMI is connected, and you can select external audio input and you can listen to music through the external audio input. On this screen though, you've got to manually run it. So that's one, it's not a downside, it's just an extra step. The harness has an audio out. The kit comes with the AMI connector, which is all in the glove box. So you plug the AMI connector in, plug the audio into that, and then you've got sound as well as factory Bluetooth integration. I'll test that right now and show you what it looks like. Okay, so I just quickly plug that in. I'll show you what it looks like. AMI to AUX and straight in. Nice and easy. So now we've got external audio. So now when I go to music, would you look at that? We've got sound. Volume's also not working. That's part of the CAN bus stuff, and I'll show you why that's not working in a minute. Okay, so we're happy with that. So let's just say, let's go over back to CarPlay, play a song. So let's just say we're gonna play Clash. Interesting. It's coming out of the phone. It's not sending it through the auxiliary. It's trying to send it through the Bluetooth audio system, which this car does not have. While we're waiting on some stuff to come back for the head unit, I thought I'd quickly have a look at the fascia. Now, like I said before, we have a lot of videos showing you how to do this, but I did want to show you guys the difference between this screen and our normal screen. So our normal screen, the fascia covers this whole area and it gives you a new hazard button here. This screen, however, or fascia I should say, actually falls in to the little cutout that you have there originally, just like that. And you keep this hazard button. Now, in order for this to fit nicely, you've got screws at the back. You actually have to take this out, which you do in our other fascia as well. So I'll get this out. It's not fun to do. It's always a pain. Get this on a piece of foam here. There's plastic welds all the way around that you need to either, if you want to keep this thing intact, you have to melt them off and then pull this whole back piece off just here. So you got like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. It's about 12 all around. And then that will allow just that little back, very back piece there to pop right out. So I'll get that done and then we can look at mounting the screen and then we've got some settings to do. Everything is in and working. We didn't have to change any of the wiring. Anything that wasn't working before was just settings. Now, we can basically put everything back together now. So we've got the new mounting bracket here, which goes where the original screen was. We've got the main power harness coming through, secondary plug, 4G and GPS antenna, and then the original hazard light ready for the panel. So that just literally plugs back in to the original, all working. And then we can go ahead and pop this panel back into place. So it should look something like that. Have a look at that fitment, guys. Very, very nice. Very cool how this fascia goes in between the OEM one. So we're just keeping all the original hardware in place. I think it looks very nice. Use the mounting hardware that it comes with, put the little cover on right there. And now there is another bag of mounting hardware which has the speed clips for here. Pop them on, screen goes down, and then I'll just do some basic testing and then all of this will go back together and the next clip will be set up and showing you this new head unit. So like I said at the start, this was not a full top-down how to install. If you want to see that, it is on our channel. Just go through the videos. I've got videos on A5s, A4s, S4s, Q5s, SQ5s, all vehicle specific. This was not a full install. It's just a little bit of an install on the new kit, but mostly having a look at what a maxed out screen will get you. So, something on my face. So I'll quickly get this thing back together, finish the reverse camera off, and then we will test this new head unit. All right guys, here she is. Maybe you guys can see me in the reflection. We'll find out in a minute. This is the screen in final form. Nice and straight along the dash here. It does sort of contour with the dash over towards yourself. So if it looks like it's on an angle, that's why. But what I can see here is the screen is dead straight. I think it looks really good. I do like this squared off edge. But yeah, let's turn it on and see how it looks. So it hasn't had a chance to actually boot all the way down. So when it boots down, the unit will boot up with your logo, which we put fitting bay logos. So you'll get a fitting bay logo. This unit does boot up really quickly, which I like. I'll show you the reverse camera as well. So this is the camera we've added. There you go right there. So you can see Jaden's working on a car behind us. And if we turn the wheel, you get the dynamic guidelines as well, which is pretty cool. parking sensor or optical display right there. Pop it back into park. This is the home screen. Now, a lot of people will ask about the old user interface, which is the dial from back in the day. I have kept it. Now, our factory password is different to everyone else's, and I do keep this stuff for our customers only. Once we're in factory settings, we're gonna go down to UI configuration, and then here you've got a bunch of them. Now, I'm pretty sure it was MIB2. Now, once we reboot the unit, we will have the new user interface. And just like that, we are now into the interface, and you'll see this is the old wheel that everybody likes. RS5 fitting because we are in an RS5. And then again, as soon as you turn the unit on, it will connect you straight into Apple CarPlay. Now, I do have something to tell you guys about this. So once we're in Apple CarPlay, you would have seen earlier, I was showing you guys the phone call stuff, how when you make a phone call, it only goes through the factory Bluetooth. Now, that was great. The problem was this car does not have Bluetooth audio. So you could make a call and it would go through factory Bluetooth, but when you went to play audio, it was actually coming through the phone, and there was no option of CarPlay, right? It's working now because I fixed it, but that's a downside. The main reason for this top spec amazing screen is so you can use your factory Bluetooth and Bluetooth audio. So let me tell you now, if your car does not have factory Bluetooth and Bluetooth audio, you're kind of missing out by going with this screen. Yeah, it's cool, it looks cool, and it's loaded with features. The main feature was that it worked with the factory mic, factory Bluetooth, and factory Bluetooth audio. If your car does not have factory Bluetooth audio, it's not useless, but you might as well just go with one of our other screens and not pay the extra for this, okay? So just keep that in mind. Same as my S4, it's got Bluetooth phone calls, no A2DP, so no streaming, which means I wouldn't go for one of these screens. I'd just go for one of the other ones, because we've had to set this screen up just like the other ones now. We're not paired to the factory AUDI Bluetooth, we're paired to CarPlay, just like that.
Hello.
Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you.
How does it sound?
Yeah, sounds good.
Okay, perfect. Done, thanks.
Easy, all good.
So you see the phone call works, no issues with that at all. Sound works, obviously, as you just heard. We've put a microphone up here. It's hidden that way, you actually can't see it at all, but there is a mic there now. And these are the things we've had to do and what we normally do with the other screens. I just really wanted to have a screen that worked with factory Bluetooth. Anyway, I know that was a long rant, way too long for what we we're just talking about. Go over Spotify, so you play a playlist, shuffle the music, let's go. It sounds amazing through the B&O. It's going through the factory AMI, so there's no issues there. It sounds really good. Touchscreen works, dials work as well. So before, where the dial wasn't working, that was just a setting in the factory settings, and we fixed that, so now that's all working. Now if we go, oh no, there we go, press home here. So we've got WeChat, Spotify, WhatsApp, maps, music, podcasts, all that stuff works. And this is sort of your exit button here. So if you want to get out of Apple CarPlay, you can exit the whole app. And here we have our interface. So from here, this is all apps. Now, the unit does a lot. At the very top, there's a SIM card slot, which we looked at earlier. If you put a SIM card in, you can go to Play Store, log in with your Gmail account, and download any app you want. It can be YouTube, Netflix, KO Sport, any of that stuff all works really well as well. Apart from that, obviously we looked at the camera, I'll show you that again. There we go, so nice clear camera there. Video and music are USBs in the glove box. So if you have a hard drive or USB, you can plug them in and watch videos or listen to music. AUX, don't worry about. Car Auto is our CarPlay application right there. Nice and clear too, it's a very crisp screen, and actually if we take that off, look at that, even better. I normally leave them on for the customer, but we're gonna get photos of this for the website, so we have to take this one off anyway. Man, that looks crazy. Dashboard's pretty cool, it will show you stuff like when the car's running. So you can see your revs here, speedometer, that all works. Park brake, on or off. Outside temperature, yes, it's freezing because it's Victoria. What else have we got? And then car, so if we hit car, this menu here is everything that you used to have. So we can go using the dials down below, you can go back, you can go car, you've got all of your system stuff that you had before. You don't lose anything at all. It's just showing you all that original stuff. Setup, vehicle settings, telephone, which I've now disconnected. We're gonna leave that disconnected for now. Touch the screen to go back. Here you can change this widget as well. Not from here, I just wanted to see how that would look. If you put a SIM card in, obviously the weather would work, but there's no internet, so no weather. Go into your settings, down to factory, put in your password, and then you can change the widgets on the side. You can also change the car as well. Time set to synchronization to car time. In Audi, doesn't work. Don't know why, it works in Mercedes. So you set that to Android time, and then you go back, down to Android settings, and then set your time in here. Once the unit picks up GPS outside, time will be correct. And we can go back. You've got sound settings you can play with in here as a little equalizer, volume settings for calls and all the other things like that. Systems, navigation, don't worry about. System settings, reverse camera, display. There is a lot in here. Now this isn't going to be a full in-depth review where we go through every single setting, but most of this stuff out of the box is all preset, so you don't have to worry about it. You mainly need to get to your factory settings and change things like if the dials aren't working, you want to change your CAN bus protocol, user interface, that sort of thing. So I'll leave it on this one because I think Nick is the customer of this, owner of this car. I think he's seen some of our older videos where he's seen this before. See what he thinks, but if he wants to change it back to the other one, we can. And that is pretty much it, guys. That is the new screen. You can see just how fast it is. Look at this, it's not mucking around. This thing is insanely fast. We can go to car auto. Now with your CarPlay, this is on the unit as much as it is your phone. My phone, if you can't tell, is not in a good state. It overheats, it barely works. And I need to replace it. The point is, right? So when my CarPlay goes slow, it's expected with my phone. If you've got a newer phone or a phone that's in decent condition, you'll find that your CarPlay will be faster as well. So it's not all on the unit for the wireless, because that is very fast, but you see there's a little bit of a refresh rate thing going on there. I'm just being picky, but that's what I do. Out of that, and there you have it. Brand new screen, brand new, not a brand new car, but it feels like a brand new car. There it is, guys. That is what the maxed out Android screen looks like for an Audi. This is compatible with the A4, S4, RS4, A5, S5, RS5, SQ5, Q5. All of your Audi models, we can get this screen for. And Mercedes and stuff as well, but I know this is an Audi video. I will have this screen on the website. Just keep in mind, as I said before, if your factory Bluetooth and your factory Bluetooth audio don't work, or you've only got Bluetooth calls and no audio, you don't need to go to this spec of a screen. But if you've got a later model car, you like your phone calls going through Audi, you want your Bluetooth audio to work with CarPlay, this is the screen to get. So go to the website, if you click top spec, it'll show you a photo of this screen, and that is the one that you want to get. If not, all of our other screens are amazing. They still work great, Bluetooth's great, all that stuff is good. This was just a custom software, maxed out screen, so it would work with factory calls and audio. Hope that makes sense. If you have any questions, drop them in the comments below. If you want to reach out to us, www.shoptfb.com. Thank you all so much for watching. We'll catch you in the next one. Peace.